Welcome back to Super Bowl 54 Radio Row. Starcade Media's got your back as always. We're being joined currently by Lights Out himself, Shawne Merriman. Shawne, you were the guy that, when you were drafted into the National Football League in 2005, that I wish the Chiefs had drafted, because we took Derek Johnson and you emerged on the scene. You were just a beast. You had like the mohawk. You just had this look about you, and you were mowing people down. Tremendous rookie season. It worked out for all of us, but you know, we still kind of hold on to that. I wanted you to be a Chief at least at some point.
Yeah, no, you know what? It's funny because at my pro day, Dick Vermeil.
Oh yeah.
Dick Vermeil was there at my pro day. He was the only coach there. You know, a lot of some GMs there and some people from the staff. But I got a chance to spend a lot of time with Dick Vermeil, and that was probably one of the best. He was such a legend, right? And at the time, I'm a 20-year-old kid. I'm like, Dick Vermeil is watching me work out. I was freaking out about that.
Yeah, you're the Defensive Rookie of the Year, and so I was very jealous of that at the time. And you guys were a very good team. You come into, you know, with the Chargers there, and just, you know, going back to your NFL career though, you know, you I think retired in 2012. Injuries, I mean, it's just crazy, this game. I mean, someone like you that is a prime conditioned athlete as you could have in professional sports, and it just shows you that it comes for anyone, and it just sort of happens. What was your situation? Did you feel comfortable with the end and how it went?
Well, you know, it's funny. So when I talked to a lot of the young guys, especially I saw Michael Parsons around here somewhere, and a guy like him on that trajectory, the only thing that can stop him is injury, right?
Right.
I mean, it could. And so I was fortunate enough to have those 4 or 5 years where I played at a high level before I got hurt, so people saw me at that time. And then, you know, when the injury bug hits you, it goes from your right foot to your left knee to your left right, and it just never overcompensating. It never stops. It never stops. And then I was fortunate enough that after I tore my Achilles, which really, as an outside linebacker and explosive as I was, I used that a lot. And when I tore my Achilles, man, I never was the same again. So that's why I think it was Brandon Graham, right, who tore his Achilles.
Yes.
And to see what he's doing right now, and even though he's coming off the bench sometime and whatever, it's immaculate because it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. You may have not been drafted here in Kansas City. You may have not found your way here via free agency, but you did have a head coach that was here a long time in Kansas City, near and dear to our hearts, and that's Marty Schottenheimer. First, I just want to ask you what it was like playing for Coach Schottenheimer.
Man, I'll tell you, I was fortunate. Well, fortunate is an understatement. I was blessed to walk in the room with Marty Schottenheimer.
Wow.
And anybody will tell you this, he as hard as they come.
Yeah.
I mean, we had days in practice where I said, look, we're not acting like pros, guys. We're like tackling like we're back in Pee Wee League and learning how to tackle for the first time. He would line us in the Oklahoma drills, 1-on-1 with offensive linemen, and I said, wow, I didn't know they even did this in the pros. And the next day he'll come in, and right before training camp, if he knows you've been working hard and you're a little beat up and you're tired, he'll come and tap you until you take some plays off. So you know when you were playing for Coach Schottenheimer that not only he didn't just care about you as a player, but he cared about you as a person.
Yeah, and we've talked, I've been making the rounds here. We've talked to Jimmy Johnson, talked to Brian Billick, Solomon Wilcox, Rich Gannon, Dana Hughes, Tony Richardson about Marty Schottenheimer. And if he's deserving of the Hall of Fame, Jimmy Johnson kind of said he's a great coach, but the playoff disappointment, maybe he's no Super Bowls, maybe that's kind of keeping him out, and maybe he doesn't deserve. But I say Marty Schottenheimer turned around the Browns, the Chiefs, the Chargers. Jimmy Johnson went on to the Dolphins, didn't turn them around.
Right.
Nothing. Jimmy Johnson's a great coach, Hall of Famer, but I'm just trying to pump up our guy Marty. Is he deserving for the Hall?
Absolutely, and you know, I think that one of these days we need to step away from talking about just championships, right?
I agree.
Yes.
We need to, because you know, in Marty's case, his record shows he should be in there. His coaching percentage shows his wins.
8th all-time in wins.
His wins shows he should be in there. If you're telling me and I'm not calling Jimmy Johnson a lesser coach at all.
No.
You have some coaches with lesser resumes in there because they won a championship.
Tony Dungy.
And don't get me, Tony Dungy is a great coach, great leader,
Great person.
But if we're going to base everything off championships, why don't we just don't do anything at all and just play for a Super Bowl and then be done? Right? Like why
They say this is the ultimate team sport, but then you're counting on so many other different people in the process. And if Marty didn't get a Super Bowl, you're out.
Yeah, you know, it's a team game, and so many factors go into that situation. And if you look at what you just said, every team that Coach Schottenheimer's been to, he's had success. He's turned the organization around. He's changed the locker rooms, and you know, some coaches go somewhere and they got one ring, but not even close to resume, and they're in the Hall of Fame talks, and it's just not fair to me.
So we talked about the kind of Derek Johnson comparison. You said you had a story about that, kind of how it came to be. You talked about Coach Vermeil being at your pro day, and then it goes the way it went. Have you feel like that's kind of been a comparison throughout your whole careers with Derek? I mean, he obviously goes on to be the Chiefs' leading tackler and sustained career. Again, lucky with the injuries.
I think he was more suitable for what you guys trying to build, right? And I talked to DJ about this before, and I remember when they redid the mock draft on who they would have drafted, right? And I was number 1 on there when they redid after the rookie year, and I said, look, you got guys like him and DeMarcus who had long careers, and I'm such a big advocate on guys having long careers, and that's why I don't put myself in certain categories, even though I was explosive for those years and considered the best in my position in what I did. It's about longevity in this game. It's so hard to play for a long period of time, and that's what DJ did.
Yeah, and the last thing here on Marty Schottenheimer is near and dear to my heart. I wouldn't be in sports media today, wouldn't have grown up a Chiefs fan if not for Marty. You guys in 2006 go 14-2. You played the Patriots in the divisional round. There's video of Marty going around to the secondary saying, hey, if you get an interception at the end of the game, go down. You try and return it. Marlon McCree gets an interception at the end of the game, you return it, fumbles back to the Patriots, and then Marty gets fired. Just kind of take us through that game and that moment and that season, then finding out Marty's fired after 14-2.
Yeah, that's when I knew that I was playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? Because that just doesn't happen anywhere else. And we were all, not only mad, but we were just sad to see him go. We know there was a little bit of back and forth with the organization and AJ Smith, which AJ Smith had problems with everybody, including myself. And so it was unfortunate because we think that we got Marty for a couple of years. And nothing against Norv. Norv is great.
Yes.
Norv is
great offensive coordinator.
Norv will go down as one of the greatest offensive minds that football has ever seen.
For sure.
Period. But we thought that if we gave Marty another shot, that we would have got that at some point in time. And the coaches don't fumble.
Yeah.
And so to see him exit the way he did was just unfortunate. And I got really close. I got closer to Marty when I retired.
Wow.
And his family, and I would constantly, as his health was declining, I would call down and check with him, and even offer some time to go and sit down with him on his porch in North Carolina.
Yes.
Out there. So I miss him. He was such a big part of my life, and he'll go down as one of the best.
Yeah, we made a film for Marty back in 2018. Got a lot of his former players together to send in their memories and well wishes via video to us. We made a little short kind of film for him and was able to present that to him, and that meant so much. Just cried, and Marty's
and a lot of it jogged some of his memories, and that's so important because he kind of had to relive
something back to him.
I couldn't. I wouldn't be able to watch it, and
we'll send it to you.
I will watch it, but it'll be by myself.
Right. Totally understand.
And make sure all the vents and all that are closed, because
I know
when the vents and the dust get in your eyes, right? Yeah.
That's so special. Shawne, of course, we got to talk about your venture, and you're kind of like, I don't know, in this day and age, the modern athlete is kind of a philanthropist. You're kind of a Renaissance man. That's you. Combat sports have always been kind of go hand in hand with you, your look, your image, everything about that. You've been in WWE. You've been a part of WrestleMania pre-shows. Lights Out Xtreme Fighting. You purchased that entity. You just had a huge event, I believe, in Riverside back in January.
Yes.
That was your first partnership with Fubo TV, Fubo Sports.
Yes.
Talk about this venture, how it came about, and kind of what you guys see going forward, because it looks like your next event's going to be in LA.
Yes.
Things that looks like are really propelling to the top here for you guys.
Yeah, so I own Lights Out Xtreme Fighting, which is MMA league and promotion. We're now on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. If you don't have Fubo, get it. Got some big announcements coming. Some former athletes is transitioning into Lights Out Xtreme Fighting. Can't wait to announce those guys. I would do it here, but they got to clear with their wives first and make sure I can put it out there.
Oh yeah, that's always the wives, right? Not forget the agents.
Any single guys that could break?
Let me go talk to the wife first before I can fight, right? And so we pretty much got that done. But yeah, we just had a huge fight in Riverside on January 14th. We actually moved into the top 10 most watched football sports ever.
And there's a lot of entities that air on Fubo.
International. And there's a lot of entities that air on Fubo. And so we moved into the top 10 most watched football sports ever. And so we pretty much got that done. But yeah, we just had a huge fight in Riverside on January 14th. We actually moved into the top 10 most watched football sports ever.
And there's a lot of entities that air on
professional soccer. I mean, we moved up there with the top, so it was cool for us. And it really just says what the fans think, right? And what I'm concentrating on, Kansas City is we're looking to bring a fight out there.
Yes.
I know we're talking to a venue, and we got it's another big fight town out there.
Sure.
We're looking at possibly bringing the fight out there, and of course that'll be live on Football Sports and Football TV.
Yeah, and I know that you're big on social media for your sign 'em up. So
Yeah.
if Clint came over right now and knocked me out, you would have that video, and then you come on and say sign 'em up.
I would. I got my glasses right here too, so I would stand over there, I would lift them up and look at the camera.
Would a dream come true? I would get to really vent a lot of years of pent-up aggression I have towards Noah here and get the Shawne Merriman Lights Out, sign him up. So when it comes to what you guys do with Lights Out Xtreme Fighting, I mean, you're competing, I mean, combat sports are at an all-time high. We know the UFC, you know there's Bellator out there. There's a lot of competition. There's even, there's like, I think Ken Shamrock did like the bare knuckle league that was going on. You've been even an advocate for the slap fighting league in the past. How do you guys stand out in this kind of a competitive market?
Well, you know, when there's enough fighters to go around that don't have a real opportunity to get seen, right? We know there's bigger promotions out there, but we're hoping to grow our talent. These up and coming fighters that's looking for a shot.
Yeah.
And I mean, California alone is a hotbed for fighters. Like I said, in Texas and Kansas, I mean, there's fighters that's looking for an opportunity, and they all can't go and jump on the big promotions just yet. Mm-hmm. And so they want to come and see us. They want to come work with us, and we have the great visibility with football, you know, being one of the all-time most watched. And they have me promoting the hell out of them behind them. You know, I'm nonstop pushing these guys, and I want them all to be seen so they can grow their careers.
Was this more of a passion for you? I mean, obviously it becomes a financial endeavor, and hopefully that goes hand in hand with the growth of what you're doing. But did the passion kind of outweigh the potential for financial success in this?
Always financial. No,
okay, well, no, I mean, I get it.
That's a joke. So when I started training, I just wanted to get better at my hand-eye coordination, be a better football player. I didn't use my hands a whole lot when I got into the NFL.
Sure.
And you can tell from my first year to my second year, I started using my hands a lot more. But I also try to get any former athlete that's transitioning to that next phase of their life to pick up some form of combat sport. That first year when you're done, I don't care who you are, it's tough. You're trying to find out who you are, your regiment is gone, and you're looking for something to compete in. And so I'll tell any one of these guys to pick up some form of boxing. You don't have to go take a fight, but pick up the discipline so you can stay competing at something and be around the locker room, because that's the biggest thing that we all miss when we're done. We miss being in the locker room. So for me, it's also therapeutic, right? I get a chance to go in the gym, I jump in fight camps with these guys, I go spar some days, and just do it to kind of stay involved and stay, you know, keep it disciplined.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know Tom Ali well, but he was always kind of out there using his hands.
He was one of the best. He was one of the best. He had a great takeoff, but after that, Tom Ali was so violent with his hands and so great with his hands. I just remember watching him, and there's a great clip even more when he was on his way out and he was coaching Joey Bosa after the game, man, and that to me I love the most.
So we're gonna have to clear it with his wife too. The violent hands might play well here in Lights Out Xtreme Fighting. We're gonna have to clear it with Tom's wife. Not sure if she'll put the okay on that. One person you need to get a hold of is probably Le'Veon Bell. I don't know if you saw him and Adrian Peterson.
I did.
Holy crap, that's some hands right there.
I did, but you know what? You're going to then work out with my boy AP.
I know.
But you know, everybody there's a winner and a loser, right? I mean, period.
Sure.
But I applaud any one of these guys that step into combat sports, because it's not easy. But you do have some champions out there that are coming from Alabama, right? Oklahoma State. So we're looking to transition these guys into Lights Out Xtreme Fighting as soon as possible.
Do you feel like your, fighting career? Do you feel like you would step in and fight? And do you still have that aspiration?
I run so much on the back end, man. It's tough, and I try to jump in there just to stay in shape, and I'll get in there with the guys. But I have limits. You know, when you're training with guys that 12 and 13 years younger than you are, they're hungry and they're trying to do that. The fight game is not one of these things you can try out. You do it or you don't do it. And for me, I don't have the time to train like the rest of these guys.
Well, I always wondered, because you were in WWE there and you were part of some big WrestleMania, big moments. You absolutely have the look, the athleticism, the explode. I mean, just everything about it seemed to be a perfect fit. What happened kind of with some contract negotiations here a year and a half ago or so kind of fell through, and then Vince McMahon's like stepped away. He's come back. The company though is surging, when it comes to economically and all the measurables. So what happened with you?
Yeah, so I went down there, trained, had a great training day with in Orlando at the performance, which is great, which is great by the way. And I got a chance to have a 3-hour conversation with Dusty Rhodes about football. One of the best.
He's a big Longhorn fan, right?
One of the best conversations about football I've ever had with anybody. He loved football to death. And I got a chance to host a WWE WrestleMania, the network. I went there in New Orleans, and it was great, man. It was one of the best times. We just couldn't come to an agreement for a couple different things, and also too, I'm building something with Lights Out.
Exactly.
And so there has to be a way to make that work. And I'm still on the table. I still talk to those guys over there, and I got a great relationship with everybody over there.
Well, we just got to get a quick score prediction.
Yeah.
You're in demand. You're popular here, so we got to let you go. But a quick score prediction.
Look, I picked against Patrick Mahomes last week. I made a mistake. I did. But he wasn't playing against the best team in football. And that's, as great as Patrick Mahomes is, Travis Kelce is my guy. Love Travis to death. Frank, Chris, great. This Philadelphia team didn't have a flaw. They've really
never faced a Patrick Mahomes.
They never faced a Patrick. I'll give you that. That's why I can't just jump on the bandwagon of the Eagles just because of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
We'll see how it plays out. Super Bowl 57. Shawne Merriman, thanks so much. Lights Out Xtreme Fighting. Can't wait to see it in Kansas City. You'll credential us for that event, right? Right, Shawne?
Oh, you guys got to come.
Yeah, we're in. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
Appreciate it.